Hi there, I'm Sarah. This is our beginners yoga series. So we've got 6 sessions. Moving through session 1 today, we're looking at the foundations of yoga, some of the postural elements, and then we'll be building throughout the sessions. So hopefully your confidence will be building too. And by session 6, you'll be flowing nice and easily. I have got a cushion today, a pillow. If you have a book, that can be useful as an aid, as a yoga block. Didn't want to do anything that you might not have at home, so pillow or cushion. But yeah, I always say listen to your body first and me second. You're your own teacher. Obviously, since I'm not there in person, please be nice and gentle. Move in and out of the postures nice and slowly and gently. And if you're ready, we'll get going. So we're starting cross-legged today. So it doesn't matter which leg's in front. If you've got a cushion, you can sit it just up on it, nice and tall. So it just helps to raise the hips higher than the knees. If sitting cross-legged is not comfortable for you, please just come to kneeling. So sit the bum back on the heels and you can just kneel up. So either way, just settling into the space. So we're lifting through the crown of the head. We've got a slight tuck of the chin. So we do get a little double chin, that's normal. Nice light engagement, navel through to spine. So we're sitting up nice and tall on the sit bones. Hands can rest down on the knees or maybe just up in the lap, whatever works for you. We'll roll the shoulders up, back and down. Nice deep breath. One more time. And then if you're happy, closing down the eyes, please do. Otherwise, just lowering the gaze to the floor. We're starting to let the external environment just fall away. There'll always be distractions. It's just learning to work with them and knowing that you can turn your attention inwards at any time and really come back to your body and to the breath. So starting to notice the breath now. We're not trying to change it. There's nothing wrong with exactly how it's feeling today, exactly where it's at. You're just noticing it, so inhaling through the nose and exhaling through the nose. Maybe noticing what parts of the body are moving with the breath. Even when we're still, the body's still moving. It's still working. So notice if the belly's rising and falling, the rib cage is moving, maybe the shoulders slightly. Taking a few more moments here to really slow down the pace. And with all postures today, as we move through the practice, I really want you to bring awareness to your whole body. So we'll focus on specific parts of the body and specific postures, but think about what the other bits are doing. So just while you're sat here, how do your legs feel? How do your hips feel? How does it feel sitting up nice and tall in this posture? And then when you're ready, we'll do 2 nice deep breaths together. So we're going to come in through the nose and then exhale, just sighing it out through the mouth. So inhale, nice and big, nice deep breath. Exhale, let it go. Really sigh it out. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Nice. And slowly open the eyes. If you're happy to keep the eyes closed as we move through this next section, please do. Completely up to you. So inhale, the shoulders come forwards and up to the ears, and then roll them back and down. Exhale. And we'll do a couple more of those. One last one. Nice big circle. See how much movement you can get through the shoulders. Nice. From here, we're just going to take the left ear to the left shoulder. So gently walking the right fingertips out, just crawling them out little bit by little bit. See how far away you can get your fingers. And then from here, you can just gently take the chin into the armpit, so like you're smelling your armpit. And then we'll just do a movement between those 2 postures. So just nice and gently. Not worrying too much about the breath. We're trying not to let the posture go here. Everything else is nice and steady, nice and stable, nice and strong. And we're just feeling through the neck, through the shoulder, maybe as the chin goes down, maybe through the back a little bit. And then slowly coming back to centre. We'll go on the other side. So gently drop right ear to right shoulder, walking out the left fingertips. And then gently turning chin into armpits. So really noticing what's coming up in your mind as well. So noticing the sensations in your body, but maybe your mind's wanting to rush on to the next posture. Maybe taking a big sigh. Just coming back to the breath. Really slowing it down today. And then gently coming back up to centre. This time we'll sweep the right arm nice and high. So inhale, up overhead. Left arm comes out to the side. So just feeling how far away you want your hand. Everyone's very different. And we're just reaching over on the diagonal with the fingertips. So we're grounding down through this left sit bone. Stay sat up on your cushion if that's working for you. I'm just going to remove mine. We really want to ground down through the right sit bone there and reach over with the right hand. So we've got a nice long diagonal line. Letting the shoulders fall away from the ears. We don't want this hand, this arm to be too locked. We just want it to release down. There's a bit of weight in it, but we're reaching long. And we're breathing steadily. Trying to keep the chest nice and lifted towards the ceiling. So if you notice your chest is caving in, we really want to see if you can roll the shoulder open. And the gaze goes up. You can hold this nice and still. And just breathe here for a few more breaths. If you want to find a bit of movement through the posture, everyone's different. Yoga's different for everybody. We can inhale, lift the chest, drop the elbow back. And then exhale, reach the fingers over on a diagonal forwards. So you're just getting a little bit more movement through this side bend, through this lateral bend. Because we feel a nice openness through the chest as we lift and open. And then as we come forwards, maybe it moves a bit more through the back, through the shoulders. So holding it still or taking this movement, completely up to you. From here, this time we're going to sweep the right arm forwards, bringing the body forwards, the left arm's going to follow, and we're just going to release the head down. So if you can, we'll release so that the back of the hands are on the floor, the palms face up, and let the back of the neck go. So we're not thinking about the posture, we're not thinking about holding the navel through to spine right now. I just want gravity to pull you forwards. And it doesn't matter how high up you are, maybe you're here, that's absolutely fine. We're just trying to find a bit of stillness, a little bit of relaxation through this posture. On every exhale, see if you can release a little bit deeper. And then gently walking the hands back up through center. We're going to take the hands behind us, fingertips point towards the body. We inhale, we lift the chest up. And then exhale, maybe take a bit of weight back onto the hands. So see how that feels? Maybe you want to spider the fingers, so you're a little bit taller. Everyone's arms are different lengths. I have quite short arms in relation to my body, so I do go quite far back. But see what feels good. We're pinning the shoulders open, we're lifting the chest and heart forwards, like you've got a string pulling from the center of the chest. And we're just really opening through the chest, opening the shoulders. Gaze goes slightly lifted, but we're not releasing into the neck. Nice, open chest. One last breath here. And then gently come back up with the hands. And we're going to switch legs. So this is the bit that feels a bit awkward. The cross the other way, the side that doesn't feel quite as natural. We'll make sure we do both sides. So right hand comes out, left arm comes high. Inhale and lift, and then exhale, find a nice long diagonal line. Exactly the same as before. Play with if you want your hand further away or closer to your body. Gaze can lift, chest can open, really dropping that top shoulder back, so the left shoulder. I might get my lefts and rights a little bit confused. Hopefully, you'll still be able to follow me. So option to hold this nice and still. Or maybe we can move through that little flow we did. So we inhale, we lift the chest open. And then exhale, reach the fingers across, dropping that shoulder forwards. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forwards. We'll go a couple more times. Again, really keeping the left sit bone really connected to the mat. So we've not lifted off. We're nice and strong, nice and stable. This time we're going to sweep the arm all the way forwards. The other arm joins us, comes all the way around, and then the body releases down. Backs of the hands to the floor, back of the neck goes. So the navel, we're gazing at our navel. Really taking any sort of pressure, any sort of expectation out of the practice today. Every day when you come to your mat, you'll feel different. And that's expected. We're not the same from day to day. So just listening to your body and honouring where it's at. There shouldn't be any pain. We're not looking for it's not no pain, no gain here. That's not what we're looking for. Gently walking the hands back in, coming up to seated, and we'll lean backwards. This time, if you want to interlace the fingers behind the back, just interlacing them. The thumb draws down the spine, elbows pull towards each other, and we pull open with the shoulders. So again, it depends how long your arms are. You can bring your hands back and do exactly what we did before. Otherwise, we're just lifting the chest, pinning the shoulder blades together. Nice, deep breath. One last breath in. And then gently releasing, giving a little shake off. We're going to rock over the knees to our tabletop position. So if you can, just rock over the knees. Otherwise, obviously, just swing the legs around. However you get there, it's absolutely fine today. So we're spreading the fingers nice and wide, really as far apart as you can. And then the hands are coming underneath the shoulders. So the wrists are directly in line. We've got a nice straight line here. We're pressing down with the tops of the feet, and we're trying to get a nice right angle through all parts of the body. So pressing down, really a nice, strong connection to the mat. Navel comes through to spine. Let me just tuck this in so you can see. So we're engaging through the centre. We don't want to drop the belly to start with. Nice, neutral spine. So we're reaching back with the tailbone. So it's like the tailbone's trying to go to the back of the room, and the crown of the head to the front. So again, I've got that slight tug of the chin. We're pressing away from the mat. So we'll just have a look at our shoulder blades, our scapula, to start with. So hopefully you can see the difference. If I drop the chest forwards, this up, drop the chest forwards, and you can see my shoulder blades come together. You'll see that I kind of drop into my arms and my body comes closer to the mat. From here, what we want to do is really press the mat away. See if you can pull your chest away from the mat and separate the shoulder blades. So they've come a little bit further apart from each other. And we're going to do that a couple of times. So I want you to really feel into your shoulders. So we're dropping the chest down. Nothing else is moving, navel through to spine, and then gently lifting up, pressing the ground away. So really just feeling the difference. Such a small movement, you might not see much happening. But it's just to really make sure that we're aware of what our body is doing in these postures. We'll do one more. Just dropping the shoulders down, letting the chest drop down, a bit more weight in the wrists, and then gently press away. Again, feeling the separation. Kind of a little mini dome in the upper back, if anything, pressing away from the mat. Lovely. From here, we're keeping a nice, strong, neutral spine. So we're in this engaged press, separation of the scapula. And then we're going to just press back with the left leg. So just pressing into the ball of the foot. And you can take a little gentle rock forwards and backwards. So nothing else should have moved. We're just feeling into the calf. Nice, gentle stretch. So people think that tabletop, not a lot's happening, but I can already feel my arms. Hopefully we're engaging through the shoulders, nice and strong. Getting a little length through the calf muscle. Holding this still or rocking, completely up to you. And we'll gently switch sides. So other leg goes backwards. Feeling that little gentle rock. Pressing into the ball of the foot. Again, shoulders out of the ears. So we don't want them to go this way either. Just one more breath here. Nice and gently. And then coming back to your neutral spine, so knees are hip distance apart. So we're starting from this nice strong centre, and now you're going to forget everything I've done while we walk through our cat-cow. So we inhale, we drop the belly, we lift the heart forwards, and we tilt the pelvis. So we've got an anterior tilt of the pelvis. That's on our inhale. As you exhale, press the ground away, curve through the spine, lifting navel nice and high, really separate the shoulder blades, come as far away from the mat as you can. So we're moving through these two positions. Inhale, reaching forwards and out with the chest. Exhale, lifting through the belly. So when we move through our cat-cow, again, seen sometimes, I think it can be overlooked as something nice and easy, but really we want to initiate from the centre of the body. Feeling the tuck of the pelvis here, so really feel the posterior tilt, and then gently the other way. So hopefully you can see my pelvis moving and initiating this posture. It's not in the neck, it's not from the top of the body, it's really from the centre, from the core. Feeling each vertebrae as you slowly move forwards and backwards through this position. You can move with your own breath. I'd like you to keep it nice and fluid, so I don't want you to stop anywhere. Don't stop at the top, don't stop at the bottom. That's not more important. There's no part that's more important here. Just the most important is the awareness. And then slowly coming back to centre. From here, we're going to sit the bum back on the heels. We're going to find child's pose. So if you can bring your toes together, you can take the knees as wide as the mat, and then the belly just releases down towards the floor. From here, play around with how you want your child's pose to be. I like my knees nice and wide. Some people like them completely together. There's no right or wrong with this. They're just slightly different versions of the same posture. If your head doesn't come down to the mat, you can rest it on your forearms or on your pillow if you have it there. You can just rest it down there. Because I really want this to be a relaxation posture. Other option, if it doesn't feel good to sit back on your feet, you can gently put the cushion there. That can help just to give that a nice lift. So hopefully you're there, you're breathing nice and deeply. Maybe you can feel the belly lift, rise and fall on your thighs. We're really feeling the upper body connect to the lower body here. We do that in quite a few of our postures, so really trying to feel the hinge from the hips and the upper body and lower body connect. We'll do one last breath here. And then nice and gently bringing ourselves back up to our tabletop and then lowering down to the floor. So however you want to start with, we're just bringing ourselves down onto our belly, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat. We're going to just bring our hands so our shoulders are in line with our elbows. Spread the fingers nice and wide. You kind of got L shapes with the thumbs pointing towards each other. And we're nice and active here. So what we're doing is we're thinking of pulling our elbows back towards our waist. We don't want to actually move, but that's the sensation. Again, it's nice and strong through the front of the body. Doesn't look like much is happening, but it really is active. Feel the elbow pull backwards. We're lifting forwards through the crown of the head on a nice diagonal. So again, we're not crunching the neck, forwards and out. And we feel the shoulder blades draw down the back. So hopefully they're just drawing down, sitting nice and deep into the back, shoulders away from the ears, and we're just holding this. So if your feet have splayed out, maybe bring them in a little bit. So hip distance, ideally, or closer. And then we're feeling a sensation of lift with the navel away from the mat. So again, that's something that won't happen for most of us. But really feeling like you've got that navel to spine connection. The glutes will be active here. We're not sinking into the lower back. This is not what's happening. It's not about trying to find that curve. We're lifting navel off, reaching out, glute activation, nice and strong. Again, we should be feeling this through the shoulders. One last breath here. And then gently releasing down to the mat. You can bring your hands as a pillow, gently turn the toes towards each other and gently rock through the hips. Let the heels flop out. Nice. From here we're going to come into our Cobra. So the hands come under the shoulders, pin the elbows towards each other. On an inhale, we're gently doing exactly the same thing we were before. So we're trying to lift the navel off the mat, coming all the way up, and then exhale, release down. So you don't have to go very high. You can keep this nice and small, shoulders away from the ears. Just here. We're just going to do a few more of these ripples. So you can come up as high or as low as you want to, just really playing around with it, depending on how your back is feeling today. And again, like I said, knowing that just because it did something yesterday, maybe it doesn't want to today. That's okay. We're listening to it, we're tuning in. Pressing into the hands, we're coming all the way up this time. And then finding our tabletop. Stay nice and strong. Stable, neutral spine. From here we tuck the toes, the bum comes back to the heels, and then we lift the hips towards the back corner of the room. So we've come from our shoulders being over our wrists to taking our shoulders backwards to start with, so we're lengthening the arms on the diagonal, and then gently lifting the hips. Feet stay nice and, knees stay nice and bent. So a lot of people want to come to a nice straight-legged downward dog. But sometimes if you straighten your legs, you end up with this curve through the spine and your shoulders move forwards over the wrists. I really want you to think about lengthening the top half of the body, lengthening the spine, and bending the knees as much as you need to. From here, we can take a little twist. We can bend through one leg, bend through the other leg. So pedaling through the feet. We're just getting a bit of movement through our downward dog. It is a strong position if it's not something you've done before, so listen to the body. You can come back down to your child's pose at any time. Please do stop whenever you need to, take a break and come back in. So maybe you can find a bit of stillness here. So we're thinking of sending the heels down towards the mat, but with bent knees. So that's just a sensation, a lengthening through the back of the legs. Not many people can actually get the heels down, so don't worry about that. We're going to internally rotate through the shoulders as well. So we really want to, that's not what I mean. Externally rotate the arms so the armpits come in towards each other. See if I can explain this so you can understand what I'm meaning. So again, we're active through the shoulders. We don't just want to sink through the shoulders just if you have a nice flexy back. It's nice and strong, nice and active position. So we're all loving our downward dogs already. From here, we're just going to bring the shoulders back over the wrists and drop the knees back down to our tabletop. So you can bring them all the way down, or you can just hover them off, and then exhale, send the hips nice and high. So we're just going to move through this a couple of times. Inhale forwards, shoulders come over the wrists. Drop the knees fully down if you want to, otherwise we're hovering. Exhale, press back. 2 more, inhale forwards, nice and strong. Exhale, press back. Maybe you'll be shaking. Everything's working. Inhale, come forwards. Exhale, press back. Nice work. From here, we're going to walk the feet to the top of the mat. So lots of little steps, bending the knees as much as you want. Feet to hip distance, we spread the toes nice and wide. So it's good to get a nice, strong, stable base the first time we end up standing. Really bend the knees as much as you need to. Let the hands just hang. So maybe you're hanging here. This is perfect as well. We're keeping the knees nice and bent. You can hold on to the opposite elbow if you want to. And we just take a little sway side to side, just feeling into this forward fold, our Uttanasana. And take a few nice deep breaths here. Maybe you can sigh it out through the mouth. Nice. And then bending deeply into the legs. The hands are going to slide up the shins. As we reach forward with the crown of the head, we're going to try and flatten out the back. So again, navel through to spine, exactly the same as we've been looking at before. Shoulders slide down, scapula activate, slide down the back. Exhale, just releasing the body forward. So it doesn't matter how far down you are, maybe you're here, and then we inhale, we flatten out the back here. And then we exhale, fold here. So we'll do a couple more of these. Inhale, reaching forwards. When you reach forwards, if you can straighten out the knees a bit more, please do. Don't worry if you can't, keep them as bent as you need. Exhale, fold. Last one, inhale, lengthen forwards. Exhale, fold. Okay, this time we're starting with that movement, but the hands are coming wide. We're coming all the way to standing. So I want you to come forwards like we just did. Nice long spine. Hands come all the way up. Little click from me, hopefully you heard that. Fingertips touch, and then exhale, hands come into the heart. So taking a little moment here, see if you can do it without fidgeting, without moving. Just noticing how your body feels in this moment. Notice if your mind's wandered. And if you're wanting to move around, be curious about it. Why? See if you can bring yourself back. Maybe you can close down the eyes or just lower the gaze. Nice. We're going to do a couple of forward folds from our standing position. So inhale, the hands sweep wide, fingertips touch at the top. Exhale, bend the knees as much as you need. Hinge from the hips, hands come through the heart, and we gently come all the way forwards. So hanging nice and heavy. Inhale, we lengthen forwards with the chest. Exhale, fold. Arms sweep wide, chest comes forwards and lifts, leading with the chest, leading with the heart. Hands touch, exhale, hands into heart. One more exactly like that. Inhale, reaching up. Nice, long breaths. Exhale. Again, we're trying to keep it nice and fluid. Inhale, lifting forwards. Trying not to stop in any one position. Exhale, fold. Inhale, hands feet wide. And exhale, hands into heart. From here, we're going to sweep the hands around. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Bring the heels of the hands together as well if you can. If you can't, you can leave them open. Otherwise, please do this. So we're really squeezing the shoulder blades together. What we want to not happen is the ribs to go as well. So we don't want the back to arch. Hopefully you can see that. We don't want the back to arch here. We're nice and strong through the center. We've been looking at this navel through to spine, this neutral spine connection. And we're just opening across the chest, opening across the shoulders. Maybe you can take the ear to the shoulder. Maybe you can do a little head circle. Just really feeling this open sensation across the chest. And then gently coming back to center. We're going to inhale, we are going to lift the chest a little bit here. As you exhale, bend the knees, exactly what we did before. Hinge from the hips, so really sending the nice flat back forwards. If the hands can go all the way over the head, please send them there. Otherwise, they can stay quite close to the body. They can stay connected to the body. That's fine. So listen to your body today. Last little forward fold here before we move on. You might be glad to hear. So 2 nice deep breaths. Let the back of the neck go so the gaze is towards the back of the room. Last breath. And then slowly releasing the hands. Let them come down towards the mat. We're going to take a big step back. We're going to go with the left leg first. So a big step back with the left leg. And then drop the knee down. So we're in a lunge. We've got a nice right angle with the front leg. Start off with a right angle in the back leg as well, and we'll see how we go from here. So we're pulling backwards with the right hip crease and dropping forwards a little bit with the left hip crease. So what we don't want to do is twist. Shoulders are nice and in line with our hips. And then we're thinking of lifting through the front of the body and then drawing down with the back of the body, grounding with the back of the body. So a little teeny posterior tilt here. And hopefully you'll feel that through the front of the hip. The hands can just come up towards the ceiling if you're happy. Doesn't matter if they're wider. We're not worrying too much about what the arms are doing. Nice and strong. Pressing down with the top of the back foot, spreading the toes on the front foot. We've got a nice lunge here. If you're really happy and this feels okay, you can step the front foot a little bit further away to go a little bit deeper into that hip. Again, we're still pulling backwards with the right hip and dropping forwards with the left hip. One more deep breath. From here, the hands are going to come down, frame that front foot, and we'll send the hips towards the back of the room. Toes come back towards your face. And this is a nice, it's called half split. Sounds a lot more daunting than it is. So, again, we're keeping a nice flat back, pulling backwards with that right hip. It's okay if your leg's bent. If you've got a book or a cushion, this is where you might want to put your hands on it just to lift your body a little bit higher. If you can balance, that's great. If you can straighten out the leg and keep that nice flat back, that's great too. But not worrying about what the posture looks like, it's all about how it feels, not about what it looks like. So if you can, we're keeping this nice right angle. We don't want to sink too low in this back leg. From here, we're going to walk the hands forwards, frame the front foot, tuck the back toe under, take as many little steps as you need to hop back to our forwards fold, and then we'll take the other leg back. So big step back with the right leg, drop the knee, untuck the toe, and then find that nice double right angle to start with. So let's all start here. Lifting up through the front of the body, grounding down through the back of the body. Hands can come up. Shoulders nice and relaxed. Not putting too much tension through the body. It's about finding the balance between the strength and the ease. So if you're happy, you can step the front foot forwards, find that nice, slightly lower lunge. Again, with this nice straight line through the front leg. If anything, you want to be with the knee behind the foot. If you find your knee in front of your toes, just adjust that slightly because that can put pressure on the joints there. Couple more breaths in our lunge. Try to hug the knee towards the centre line so everything's coming into the centre. We're not letting everything open here. We'll come to that posture a little bit later in another session. One last breath. As you exhale, the hands come down. We send the hips backwards. And again, hinge from the hips. Stick the bum out. Toes come back towards the face. And we breathe here. With every inhale, see if you can find a little bit more length through the spine, wherever you are. And then with the exhale, maybe you can release a little bit deeper. Again, maybe the leg's straight, maybe it's bent. Also, if you have any problems with your knees, you can always double over the mat and kneel on that, so you get a little bit of extra padding there. Last breath. And then slowly walking the hands back to the top of the mat, tucking the toe. Little hops all the way in. Nice forward fold. We inhale, lift the chest. Exhale, release. Inhale, coming all the way up. Nice long spine that we've been looking at. And exhale, hands into heart. From here, we're just going to do a very little balance today. So we're spreading the feet nice and wide. Hip distance apart. Taking the weight into the right leg. And just hovering the left foot off. So I'm not expecting you to do anything more than this, really. We're grounding down, really pressing down. It's a two-way pull. So we're reaching up, we're reaching down. The body is lengthening itself out. If you're happy, you can hold the knee in towards the chest. So give yourself a nice big hug. Hands can just gently pull the knee in. Nothing else is going to happen. Nice and strong through that supporting leg. Knowing that falling out is part of the practice. Coming back in is as well. I fall often. If you want to, you can take the same arm as leg. So that's your left arm around your left leg. And then just gently open towards the side. Again, don't do this if you're not sure. The other hand can come to the hip. And then maybe the gaze can go towards that elbow. So the gaze goes away from the leg. We're just opening the hip slightly. One last breath. Gently bringing the knee back to centre. Releasing, see if you can balance for a second without holding on. And then coming down. Little wiggle it out. Side to side. And we'll go to the other side. So, weight goes into the left leg. Just checking my rights and lefts. So we've got the right leg just slightly lifted. Hovering here, finding the two-way pull, really reaching nice and tall. Hands can come in, really pressing in towards the centre. That will help pull everything nice and tight. If you're happy, hugging the knee in. Letting the elbows bend here and pulling the elbows in towards the body. One more nice deep breath. Keeping it here if you're happy, otherwise right hand comes around the right knee. Left hand comes to the hip and the gaze goes over that left elbow. Wobbling today. Spread the toes nice and wide. Feel that two-way pull. Lift, lift, lift. Gently coming all the way back to centre. Releasing if you can. Hands into heart. One nice deep breath. And then gently releasing the leg down. And just letting it go. Releasing through the hips. We're coming back down to the floor. We're staying down now. Coming towards the end of the practice. So inhale, the hands sweep wide. Fingertips touch. Exhale, nice long spine. Coming all the way down. Inhale, chest lifts forwards, and exhale, hands come down. From here, we're just going to send the weight to the floor, send the bum to the floor, so walk your hands backwards. Whatever way works for you. We're going to go into our boat pose. So from here, we're squeezing the knees together, we're squeezing the inside thighs, the ankles together. It's like you've got one leg. We want them to move as one. Hands come behind the back, fingers point towards you, hugging the elbows towards each other so the chest stays lifted. We don't want to sink here. We're really pressing nice long spine. If you're happy, come onto the tiptoes, take the weight backwards and hold it here. Nothing else needs to happen. So test the weight maybe. Really navel through to spine in a nice long spine. If you're happy, you can take the shins off, squeezing together, make them parallel to the floor. If you're really happy, the hands can come forwards and reach alongside the legs. Chest stays lifted. One last breath. And then gently take the feet as wide as the mat and let the body just release in between the knees there. Let the back of the neck go, a couple of breaths. And we'll gently go through that one more time. So knees come together, feet squeeze together, ankles, hands behind the back, lift the chest, inhale, exhale, coming up. Any variation? If you're super confident, super happy, stretch off the legs. So see how you feel, but we don't want the back to go when we do that. So we're nice and lifted. Just listening to the body. One last breath. Gently take the knees nice and wide, feet nice and wide, and the body comes in between. And gently rock the knees open side to side if that feels good. And we're going to gently find our way down to the mat to finish our practice with Shavasana today. So using your hands, gently ease yourself down, giving yourself a nice big hug, knees into the chest. So you've got 30 seconds now, and I really want you just to connect in with your body, listen to your body. What does it want in this moment? What does it want to do? So maybe you want a nice long stretch, maybe that's what it's asking for. Maybe it wants a little twist. You can just feel through the spine, a little twist side to side. Maybe you want to stay in this hug. But I really want you to lead this 30 seconds with what your body wants. When you're ready, there's no rush. We can find our way to Shavasana, so the feet go as wide as the mat. Let the toes flop open. Arms away from the body, really taking up space. Letting the shoulders just release down into the mat. Nice length through the back of the neck, slight chin tuck. And if you can feel this in the lower back, the other option is toes turning in, soles of the feet to the mat, and the knees knocked together. So this will just release any pressure through the lower back. If you're happy, closing down the eyes or just lowering the gaze. And just knowing there's nothing else for you to do now. There's nowhere else for you to be. With every exhale, try and sink a little bit deeper into the mat. Letting the breath flow naturally. Letting the fingers curl. And then nice and slowly getting a bit of movement through the fingers and toes. Maybe having a nice big stretch. Reaching out with the toes and up with the hands, maybe a yawn, and then hugging the knees into the chest. Maybe rock side to side if that feels nice through the back. And we're going to rock onto your side, so dropping both of your knees over to the right, using the right arm as a pillow and the left arm just drops down towards the floor. Keeping the eyes closed if you know what's happening. Please glance at me if you need a little bit more visual guidance. We're taking a moment in this position. And when you're ready, just pressing into the left hand, coming up to a nice comfortable seat to finish. So maybe you end in your cross-legged, maybe you end on your knees, exactly where we started. Hands can rest down on the knees or maybe up in the lap, wherever they are happy and sitting. Shoulders roll up, back and down, lifting up through the crown of the head. We're going to end with 2 nice deep breaths together. So inhale through the nose. Let it go through the mouth. One more. Biggest breath of the day. Inhale. Let it go. And bringing the hands in to the heart center. Feeling the thumbs. Just press against the chest. Nice and gently. And just thanking yourself for this time today. And thanking your body for everything it can do. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me for the first session out of 6 sessions. So hopefully we move nice and slowly through some of the postures you've seen before. Do this session as many times as you want to, keep coming back to it, and then when you're ready, just move through and we'll just build on what we've done today. Thank you so much. Bye.